Your reasons for listening to the show, well, those are your own. But just keep in mind that the views, information, or opinions expressed on the Tuddle Daily Podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of our sponsors. Yeah, it's called free speech, people. Nobody's forcing you to listen. One-of-a-kind shades made to order by VaporShades.com. Vapor Shades designs the outer layer of the sunglasses just like a wrap on a car. They customize your sunglasses, marbling the paint. The end result is no two pair of sunglasses are alike. Yours will be completely unique to you. Check us out at VaporShades.com. Use promo code Tuddle for 15% off your entire order. Get ready for your daily dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle. Tuddle in Florida.
From the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Anarchy! Anarchy! Anarchy!
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
Welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend so far. I got to tell you, Saturday might have been one of the greatest days that I've had in a really, really long time, and I will get to that. But first, make sure you go to my website, Tuddle.net. That's Tuddle with two Ds, Tuddle.net. You're going to be able to find every single place that you can find me online. All of my social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, whatever it may be. One of the main ones that I'm paying attention to, I don't want you guys to think that I'm ignoring the podcast. I actually had somebody tweet me and say, hey, how come no podcasts this weekend? Well, I don't do Saturdays or Sundays anymore. You know, I need some days off. Need some days off to hang out with people that I've met. I got to tell you, Saturday, hanging out with the new woman that I met a couple of months ago, my friend. We had a blast on Saturday thanks to James out there at Ocean Inlet Surf Shop. Hooked up my friend with an amazing new skateboard. Thanks to him for that. We actually did a little bit of surfing and stuff. It was just an amazing time. Luckily, we went out on Saturday because Sunday would have been horrible. I ended up checking out Tom Van, a.k.a. Drunky the Bears, Facebook page. From A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. And my God, the hailstorm. I haven't seen hail that bad in a really, really long time. And I hope, none of you guys got, brand new cars, got damaged. But my buddy Corey is the guy that paid me to be a part of, didn't pay me. I was a part of his foursome playing golf at the charity celebrity golf tournament. And his job is to fix dents in cars. He works for a lot of the dealerships. And the first thing I was thought about when I saw that hailstorm, I was like, oh, Corey's about to get paid. So, like I said, it sucks. I hate for any of my supporters to have their new cars damaged and stuff. But I hope everybody made it through the storms okay. Make sure you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Tuddle. I've been doing a live stream every single night, Monday through Friday, and people have been, it's been building. It's growing and growing and growing, just like this podcast did when I first started it. So go to youtube.com/Tuddle. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell button, because when you hit that bell button, you're going to get alerted anytime that I go live. So I mentioned that I hung out with my new friend, the person that I met. See, a lot of people are like, oh, why don't you mention her name? Because I'm not going to let you guys fuck this up for me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not saying that a lot of people have, but I've been burned too many times by listeners, supporters, fans that just want to be dicks. And I'm keeping this one to myself, unless she's okay with it. But she made a joke the other day because we were hanging out. She had her shoes off, and she's got some tattoos. And I was looking at the tattoos, and she kind of called me out for, it was like, oh, do you have a foot fetish or something? I was like, no, not at all. No, and it kind of caught me off guard. And you know that I don't get caught off guard that much. But there's some weird people out there. And I get it, but this first story that I'm going to play for you is pretty goddamn disturbing, if you ask me, because this guy used a child's toy for self-gratification. You know what? I'll just say he jacked off with a Tickle Me Elmo doll.
Technology can be a blessing and a curse. The camera in the baby's room triggered by movement and caught exactly what the home inspector was doing.
I mean, it's just, wow.
It's not often you hear a reaction like that from the Oakland County Sheriff. And it's not often you hear of an act so appalling.
If you've been listening to my podcast for any amount of time, you know that I got a problem with the way news media covers stories. And they're acting like this is the sickest thing that has ever been done. No, just go on the internet. You will see the most sickest shit that you're ever going to find. Yes, is this bad? Yes, it is absolutely horrible. There are just some sexual deviants out there in the world, and you got to be careful about who you let into your house. Also, this guy is the biggest dumbass in the world that you would do something like this. Everybody has home security cameras now. I'm not saying, oh, he should have been smarter and he should have looked for the cameras and stuff. No, I'm glad that this asshole got busted for this sick, depraved thing that he did.
On March 12th, before selling, an Oxford Township couple let this man into their home on Gill Street for a routine inspection that turned into anything but. They left, never suspecting the 59-year-old man would allegedly fulfill his sexual urges with their child's Elmo doll.
Listen, before what I'm about to say, I don't want you guys to think that I'm making excuses for what this guy did. I mean, it's horrible. It really, really is. But I'm not going to leave a home inspector alone inside my house. You bet your ass that I'm going to be there the whole entire time. Because it is a racket. These home inspectors, they work for the insurance companies, the people that are selling it, the loan officers, all that good stuff. So there's no way that I'm going to let a stranger inside of my home and leave him inside my house all by himself. What if this couple actually entrapped him? You know, there's a lot of these swingers, a lot of these people that are into voyeurism. What if they were like looking, you know, I don't know what a person would look like, one that would fuck or masturbate to a Tickle Me Elmo doll. But what if they were like, hey, honey, man, you know, sex life's getting kind of bland right now. Let's find a guy that is into fucking Tickle Me Elmo dolls. We hire him for a home inspection, and we entrap him. We leave the Tickle Me Elmo doll out in the open. We know that he can't fight his urges, and we set up the baby camera. So when he goes in there, it's going to be like motion sensor activated, and we will have it on video. See, that's the thing that I don't understand about this. You know, I've always said that the news should not be edited. Let's show the video. Show the video of the guy having sex with the Tickle Me Elmo doll. I'm telling you right now, it would be a ratings blockbuster.
While he was in there, he took that opportunity to be in a baby's nursery. And worse, while he's in the nursery, for whatever sick reason, finds himself in need of sexually gratifying himself with a Tickle Me Elmo doll.
Maybe a lot of you have never heard this saying. I know it's used a lot in radio. I know when you get higher than that, listen, radio people are the rats of the media industry. We just are. I mean, we're looked lower than newspaper writers. But because they all see us as scumbags. They really, really do. That's always said that, oh, there's no such thing as bad press. Now, if you are the owner of the Sesame Street brand or the Muppets, and is this bad press for you? Like, do you care why people are buying a Tickle Me Elmo doll? For the most part, it's for kids. But once you buy it, don't you get to do whatever you want to with the Tickle Me Elmo doll? is there like a fetish out there of people that are just hot and bothered by Tickle Me Elmo? And as the Sesame Street people, do you care? Or do you just like, hell yeah, we got money coming in because these sick, depraved people are buying Tickle Me Elmo dolls to use as fleshlights to jack off with? I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. Because like I said, I know that Sesame Street, Tickle Me Elmo is a child's toy. But if you're the owner of Sesame Street, do you care? Or do you just like, hell yeah, I'll take your money all day for you to use a Tickle Me Elmo as a masturbation toy?
The disturbing sexual act revealed when movement in the child's room triggered the nursery camera. The image shows when Kevin Van Leuven picked up the Tickle Me Elmo doll. The homeowner shocked when she was alerted on her cell phone. She looked on her phone at the video feed and saw him. It looked like he was not inspecting. It looked like something was going on, so she hit the record button, and lo and behold, she ended up capturing something that certainly no one of their right mind could imagine. It didn't take long for her to figure out what he was doing with Elmo.
See, this is another reason I wish that the news had balls and they would play the whole entire video. Because from the video that I saw, the guy did not even wine and dine. There was no foreplay with the Tickle Me Elmo doll. I mean, he just got right after it.
After hitting record, she immediately contacted the Oakland County Sheriff's Office.
Our deputies confronted him, and initially he denied it, and then they told him that it was on video, and then he apologized.
See, this is one of those cases where it's something that you have done that you just can't apologize for. Like, seriously. Why even bother apologizing when you denied it? And then when you find out that you've been caught fucking a Tickle Me Elmo doll on camera? I mean, you're just caught. Just shut up, turn around, put your hands behind your back, and do the perp walk. Why even apologize? You got caught, buddy. You got caught.
The fugitive apprehension team arresting the home inspector on Wednesday. He's been charged with aggravated indecent exposure and a misdemeanor charge of malicious destruction of property. But perhaps what's even more disgusting, after abusing the doll, Van Leuven put it back like nothing ever happened.
I've said this before. I hate talking about myself in the third person. It always makes you sound like a douchebag when you talk about yourself in the third person, but this is where Tuddle has a problem. This sicko, listen, I don't judge people for their sexual fetishes or whatever. He hasn't gotten laid in a while. He's inspecting the home. He sees the Tickle Me Elmo doll. Listen, guys can get creative when it comes to stuff to be able to masturbate with. Because guys are built differently. They really, really are. I would be embarrassed to tell you the type of things that I have masturbated with as a teenager. Like, if you find something, I mean, listen, it's like you are the MacGyver of masturbation. When you see something, you're like, ooh, I think my penis can fit inside of that. I wonder how that feels. But the problem that I have is that this family has an infant. And you just the guy did finish on the Tickle Me Elmo doll. And he puts it back in there. That is where I have a problem. When you do something like that to a minor, not only how it can affect them mentally, but how it could be a health hazard, because nobody knows what this guy has. Nobody knows what type of diseases this guy could have. I'm sure he is some type of sicko, because if you're willing to fuck a Tickle Me Elmo doll, I could almost guarantee you that he has had unprotected sex. Maybe has even done like drugs, shot up with needles, whatever it may be. I don't mean to jump to conclusions, but once you start involving a minor and putting them at risk because you came on a child's toy and then you put it back and that said kid would be exposed to that toy, this is where I have a problem. This is where this guy needs to be taken in the back, beaten with a telephone book or rubber hose by the cops, and call it a day. Because this guy deserves it. This is where I have a problem with the whole entire situation. Yes, I know that I've been making jokes. That's what you guys want. That's what I get paid for, is to give you my opinion and sarcasm and parodies on things that are going on in the news. But this is me being serious. This guy needs to be beat to an inch of his life for doing what he did. You know, at least be a considerate sicko and take the toy with you. It's not like anybody else would miss it. I'm sure that the parents would be happy that you took the Tickle Me Elmo doll that you had sex with.
Put the doll back, which Mom would have never known had she not captured it. That's one of those ew kind of thought processes.
See, with the whole cancel culture going on, I got to cover my own ass. You know, I know that I say a lot of like off-color stuff that is not popular. And a lot of you people think that I actually believe some of the stuff that I say. Do you guys not realize that I say a lot of this stuff just to make a point? I say stuff to go over the top just to make a point. Yes, I know some of the stuff that I say is shocking. I know that some of the stuff that I say is unpopular. You know, they say one of the best things about life is humor, being able to laugh at stuff. And there are some people out there that have some sick-ass fetishes. But I also got serious about it when I found out that the guy actually put the toy back. And that's where it does become serious. I don't want you guys to think that I'm making light of any like things that could be done to a child, to a minor, anything like that at all. It's just that there are some sick people out there, and that's where I draw the line. I need to take a quick break. Couple of things that I got coming up before the end of the show. Right after the break, I'm gonna be speaking with somebody, Thabiso Enos. He's a music producer, and he is actually calling me from South Africa. He's from a town, I think about 20 minutes north of Johannesburg, South Africa. And then in the final segment, I'm going to talk about hanging out with one of my favorite people in the whole wide world on Saturday. It was a blast, and I want to talk a little bit about that. Be back in a few minutes. You are listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
He's a nerd,
I've only been arrested one time.
a radio personality,
Professionally, I'm not in the best position that I've ever been in.
and hot talk satirizer.
You would think with everything that's going on, a Caucasian like myself wouldn't be able to randomly talk to an African American or a minority.
You're listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Wish you could have just flown and had your vehicle arrive a day or two later so you can enjoy more time doing what's important to you? Well, you can. Just give Starfire Transport a call. Let the professionals do the driving while you're flying. Starfire Transport specializes in RV and auto transport. They'll also haul watercraft from boats to PWCs, cargo trailers, and more. Service available throughout the continental United States. So don't wait. Call Brian today at 574-349-4193 or 989-751-6106 for your next move. 10% off for veterans past or present. Also, make sure to tell them Tuddle sent you for an additional discount. That's Starfire Transport. Do you have something you want to say?
Hey, what kind of preacher is you?
Leave Tuddle a voicemail,
Because you're kind of ignorant.
especially if you think he's being an asshole.
No-legged bitch.
Will your hurtful comments offend Tuddle?
No, baby.
Call the show at 407-270-3044.
No, baby.
All right, guys, welcome back to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Waiting on one of my interviews. I'm very, very hesitant because you got to remember us doing this podcast. I interview a lot of people throughout the world, but the guest that I'm waiting on is Thabiso Enos. He is like a music producer. He's involved in the music industry in South Africa. And you would think that I don't know a lot about South Africa, but I kind of do. Like the whole culture, it's very, very interesting. Most of the stuff that I know about South Africa is watching Neil Blomkamp's movies. You know, he did District 9. He did Asylum. I think that's how you say it. And he also did the movie Chappie. But in the movie Chappie, two of the actors in the movie Chappie were one of the biggest music acts from South Africa called Die Antwoord. Two white people, one male, one female. They're a couple. And it is some really, really interesting music. So kind of interested about talking to him. And we're going to get into the music and stuff and promote what he's got going on. But I also want to talk about the South African culture. I want to get into a little bit about the apartheid. I want to get into, because I think that it has swung in a different way, because a lot of the research that I've been doing is that the white farmers down in South Africa have been targeted now, and I'm not saying that it's right, but it's also understandable that the Africans in South Africa have had to deal with when it comes to racism. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people do not know that. I want to talk a little bit about Nelson Mandela as well too, but I'm gonna ease into the serious stuff because the guy's calling in to promote his content, his website, his music, and all that good stuff. But I got a bad feeling about this one. Like I said, when we have a lot of the time difference, a lot of stuff gets lost in translation. And I know that the guy speaks English and stuff, so please don't think I'm that idiotic. But what I'm trying to say is that I think when we start this interview, we're scheduled in 4 minutes. It's going to be 11:30 at night in South Africa. So I don't know. I'm very hesitant about this. I'm not sure. I hope he does call in because I got a lot of questions. I think this is going to be interesting. I've talked about this. A lot of people are like, oh, you don't have famous people on. You don't get the realness from the celebrities. You just don't get that because they are too guarded. They're not open books. And I might piss this guy off with some of the questions that I'm going to ask. But like I said, I'm going to ease into the interview. I'm going to talk a lot about what he has going on, talking about the music stuff, and then I'll get into some of the hard-hitting questions. What you got to do, you just can't throw the haymaker right at the beginning of the interview because it's going to go south real quickly. Yeah, pun intended, South Africa. Yes, I know that. So we're just waiting on I see with these names, Thabiso Enos. I don't want to butcher his name. He's here. Thabiso Enos is waiting in the wings right now for me, and I want to make sure that I get his name right. So let's bring him on, Vulture. Thabiso, you there?
Yeah, speaking.
Hey, so am I butchering your name? Is it Thabiso? How do you pronounce your first name?
It's Thabiso.
Thabiso. Okay. Well, I just, out of respect, I wanted to make sure that I had your name correct. Thabiso.
Oh, okay, cool.
All right, Thabiso. How are you, buddy?
I'm okay. And yourself?
I'm doing wonderful, man. I am in Central Florida right now. I know
Yeah,
that you are calling from South Africa, which is in a city a little bit north of Johannesburg, correct?
In the south. In the south. I'm based in the
Oh,
south.
it is. So, man, tell me what's going on before we get into the interview. I want to give you the floor. Tell people how they can find out more about what you do, website, social media, all that good stuff. Tell my audience how they can check out any of the content that you have going on.
Oh, okay. I'm a DJ. I've been in the DJ business for 5 years now. So I just started my own record label. So what I do is I offer artist platforms for them to come through and drop these singles or mixes. It's kind of going slowly, but
Is it
I'm
kind of
slowly
like Thabiso? Is it kind of like
Yeah.
here in the United States with like mixtapes? You know, you're wanting to get people out there. You're wanting to, So you guys do kind of have the same thing that we have here in the United States when it comes to like singles, mixtapes, and stuff like that.
Yeah, but then ours it's much more focused on a different. I don't know. Maybe your platform is seeking for artists that are much more focused on hip hop or
Yes, hip hop. I love hip hop. Now, let me ask you. Like, see, I grew up. How old of a person are you, Thabiso?
I'm 25. I'm turning
Okay,
26.
so
Yeah.
like you want to know what I've been listening to? Like I go back and I listen to some of the old school hip hop here in the United States. I'm a big hip hop fan, and I've been listening a lot to the Beastie Boys. Like, do you know the Beastie Boys?
No, I don't know them. I'm not familiar.
No,
with
you
the
don't. No, you do not. Like they are three white guys from New York. One of them passed away back in 2012. But the Beastie Boys, it's a rap trio, and then like Rakim, you know, like a lot of these old school hip hop artists, I absolutely love, and I know, like, give me an example of some of the influences of music in South Africa when it comes to hip hop.
Oh, okay. Like I don't dwell so much into hip hop because I'm a house music fanatic.
Okay.
But then I do listen to hip hop here and there, and so I'd say my top picks it'd be Nasty C, and then it go back to MT, and then not last at least maybe I'll go for Younger. You know, that's put that out on the top charts right now. That you know I listen to on a you know on a normal day or on my way to school or something.
Now you said that you DJ. Now, like, so you're doing house, like kind of like dance music and stuff, or like techno, that type of stuff. I didn't realize that house, like break beats, electronic music was big in South Africa.
Yeah, it is. Like it's a huge genre. So it's house music, and then it have these subgenres inside of them. Like you'd have Afro house, we had Afro tech, and so forth and so on. So yeah, house music it's currently big right now. But then there's this genre called Amapiano. So it's a genre that you can't ignore. I wouldn't say that it's in line with house music, but then yeah, it's kind of something that you won't miss. So yeah.
I want to ask you. So now with the entertainment business, with the pandemic going on, it had to be kind of difficult right now.
Yeah.
How have things been in South Africa with COVID-19 and the coronavirus?
The restrictions are very tight because they don't allow more than 100 people in clubs. So it has to be less than 50. And then they'll have special events, which consist of people like more than maybe more or less than 80. And then, yeah, that's how it is right now. So DJs are just getting booked for private events until this pandemic ends. So yeah, but then since we had this rollout on it's just on the vaccine, that things are kind of slowing down, like in terms of restrictions. But then yeah, we're getting there slowly.
Now, Thabiso, what have you guys had to do to get creative to keep your name out there right now, where you cannot do like live events? Are you doing a lot more streaming stuff, putting your stuff up on YouTube, online? Like, what have you had to do?
Hard work, like put in the work, because honestly, if you like, if you're not putting in the work, and then you're just sitting there and just relying on the internet to get you out there, like it will do its job, but then it will be much more slower. But then if you're connected to I don't know, certain club owners, or resident DJs, and then it's much more easier for you to acquire gigs, you know.
Yeah, this is going to make me sound like a real idiot, but the only South African music that I know of is Die Antwoord. That's the only one that I know, because I watched all of Neil Blomkamp's movies, like District 9, Chappie, Asylum, and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Happy.
Now, can you talk a little bit about the South African culture? Your country has been through a lot. Do you feel like music brings the different cultures together, the different ethnicities, the different races together?
Yeah, it actually impacts every day, because I really think that without music, we'd like have no direction of where we're going, or what we do, or what you want to achieve. Because what I think is, music connects us in a way. Even though we have like different genres, it doesn't really box us to stay in one place and be like, okay, cool, I listen to that, I don't listen to that, then and then we separated and stuff. So, but then all the music that we listen to connects us, because if you get to a gig, we don't like play house music for like for the whole section, or they like it be splitted into hours. So we know that this from 10 to 12 would be house, and then from 11 to 1 o'clock it'd be piano, and then from 3 to 4, and then it'd be deep house. So in a sense, it'd be different crowds listening to different genres in one place. So in a way, it connects us. I'd put it that way.
Yeah. On the line with me right now is Thabiso. He is calling me from South Africa. Once again, Thabiso, tell people how they can check out your stuff and check out your content, because I think you also have a podcast as well too, correct?
Yeah.
How can they check that out?
Oh, okay. They can check me out on SoundCloud. I'm currently on SoundCloud at Thabiso, Sebola Thabiso. And then on Twitter, I'm Sebola Thabiso 1, and on Instagram, I'm Sebola Thabiso. So on all major platforms, I'm Sebola Thabiso. That's how they can connect with me.
Hey, Thabiso, make sure when we get done with this interview, you follow me. Just search Tuddle, Tuddle. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. I would like to keep up with you, and if we're following each other, I can start sharing some of your stuff.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Now, Thabiso, are you well, I'm gonna say soccer because here in America, that's what they consider it.
Okay.
One of the things that I've always wanted to go to South Africa to visit because I started getting into football when South Africa hosted the World Cup back in 2010. And it just seems like, I mean, there are some rough areas in South Africa, but it also seems like a very beautiful place.
No, it is. It is actually a beautiful place. But then I really suggest that if you want to visit South Africa, you should like know someone from here, because if you don't, and then you like, it's okay.
You get out on your own. Like if you don't know what you're doing, you don't know the neighborhoods, it could be a bad problem for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I'm trying to put it. So yeah, if you know someone, and then for instance, I've been around Pretoria and then Johannesburg. So I don't really go to I don't want to say fancy, but then I'm much more I'm much more into the deepness of South Africa. So I'd go into deep Soweto, travel a lot, because that's where you find the arts. Like for instance, there's Nelson Mandela House in Orlando.
Yeah,
you can only find that in Soweto. You know what I'm saying? So all this I don't know, how can I put this?
No. Well, here, let me help you out. So here in our country last year, we were dealing a lot with the Black Lives Matter movement, which I agree.
Okay.
Our country was divided. Racism is a horrible thing that we're dealing with in the United States of America. But a lot of people don't. Americans, us as Americans, we are blind to what's going on in other cultures, in other countries.
Okay.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So how much does stuff like the apartheid and stuff influence the future of music? Is it something that gets talked about in music?
It's like I said, it's like it's talked about, but then it doesn't really separate us, like in terms of just because I listen to this genre, then you can't listen to this, or you have to be in a certain way. Like apartheid like really impacted our our way of living, our way of thinking. But then we got past that, and we accepted the changes that were brought upon us. So yeah, right now I wouldn't say we
Is it getting better? Is it getting better though?
It's not getting better, but then it is better, So yeah, it doesn't really impact anything. It's just, it just needs a few changes here and there. Small changes, just that needs to be applied by people that are actually in power, that have that power to change it. And then then everything will be back to normal. Because right now, like according to my perspective, the way I see it, we still lack a few changes here and there. But then everything's good.
But here in the United States, like hip hop and music in general went to the lowest common denominator. They talked about things that were just popular, but then you have artists that have messages, that want to make change. They talk about stuff in their music. Does that happen in South Africa?
Yeah, and no, it does. Like talking about artists that are conscious. So yeah, there are artists that are conscious, but then, they have their own certain gatherings. They just meet up in their own places. Like for instance, I don't want to be name calling or pinpointing anything, but
no worries.
So yeah, they have their own gatherings.
Say whatever you want to. This is an uncensored platform. You can say whatever you want to say. So just say it.
So they have their own gatherings, and then
Yeah.
and then they be all conscious, talk about Steve Biko's, talk about, they dwell on the past. I believe that as musicians, if you stick on the past, you won't have a way forward,
You
because
can't move forward. You can't move forward
yeah.
if you're kind of concentrating on the past then.
Yeah, true. So those kind of artists, that's why they have their own private gatherings, and talk about who did this, who did that. So with amapiano and house music and Afro tech, all those genres, we don't focus on that. We're just trying to move forward and build a sustainable music industry for the upcoming ones, because truth is, like, everything that we're doing right now, it's going to impact the ones that are coming after us. So whatever we do, whatever we do, they see it, and then if we be a wrong an example to them, then they would apply it to the next generation. So we're trying to
You're trying to make
skip that,
change. You're trying to make change.
Yeah.
Now Thabiso, let me ask you this. So you kind of have like a record label almost, like you're working with other artists, correct? Or am I wrong?
Yeah. No.
Now, how do you go about that? Like when you're looking at an artist, what are some of the things that you are looking at that was like, okay, I want to work with this guy. This guy has potential.
Passion. I believe that it's more than making money, but then if you have the passion, then the money comes, then the money will follow you. So
you're talking
if
about sacrifice. You're talking about sacrificing people that are willing to put in the work, even though it's not paying off now, but it may pay off in the future.
Yeah. So see it as since we're talking about sacrifices, then just see it as an investment. You just invest in this, and while it's having the knowledge that in a certain time, it'll benefit you. So it goes to passion. Like house music for me, it's not for trends, but then it's something that you leave behind. So for someone else to listen to, and then they can be creative, because house music, like Afro tech comes from house music. If it wasn't for house music, we wouldn't have Afro tech. So in a sense, someone just sampled a few beats from house music, and then he said, okay, cool, I'm gonna call this Afro house. It has a touch of soul, it has a touch of jazz, it has a touch of African instruments. So yeah, that's now it goes back to passion. If an artist has passion for what they're doing, and then it's much more easier for me to relate to what they're doing, because I also have the passion for music.
Now, Thabiso, you keep mentioning piano. Can you explain what that is? What is that?
I'm a piano. I'm a piano.
So you're talking actual piano, like piano, like with the keys and everything.
Yeah. It's a keys. I heard that it's a lock drum. They use a lock drum. It has a touch of house. Like the kick. The kick, they use the same kick, but then it has a lock drum inserted into it, and then shakers, So yeah, that's how it is.
So Thabiso, I commend you. Like you're a man of your word, because as of late, I've been interviewing a lot of people. What time is it right now in South Africa? It's like 11 something.
It's quarter to 12 right now.
Man, see that right there, you're a man of your word, like you said, because I've been interviewing a lot of people all across the world, and the time difference, I've had a lot of people no call, no show on me, and you're a man of your word. You're talking about passion, hard work, ethics. and
Yeah,
and
thank you.
you practice what you preach. Like I was kind of worried. I was like, well, it's gonna be like 11 something when I have him on the phone,
Yeah.
and you called in. So like, give me an example of how your day was today. Like what is an average day for you like?
In terms of
Well,
what? So
like get up. Like everybody has routines. I think
oh, okay,
successful.
okay.
I think successful people have routines. They stick
Yeah.
to a routine, and that's how they're able to be successful. Like, give me an example of like how your day was.
Okay. I don't really have a recipe or anything, but then I wouldn't say that I'm lazy, but then I just wake up and then I go through my school books, like because I've studied. I've currently applied for music lessons, so I just go through my notes for maybe an hour and a half, and then just watch TV, and then research, and then just going into informative programs, and then just see what's happening in the country right now, and then look at like just see stats, like just a normal day for me. There's nothing that special or any recipe that I do, but then that's you know okay, with recipes it happens if I'm searching for music, or information, or if I have a gig or I'm planning for a podcast music, and then I like it be a special day for me. I drop everything off, and then it's back to the music, focus on that. I go through different artists, and then yeah. But then for a normal day, it's just eat, sleep, read your books, watch informative programs, and then maybe a couple of movies, play games, and a soccer match maybe, and then that's done.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, what musician are you currently working with, or artists that you're working with that you're like, all right, this is gonna be the next big thing?
It's Davi Tavares. He's from Brazil. He's in the electronic, organic, progressive house producer. I met him on Facebook, so we had a chat, and then he gave me his singles, and then I had it, and then I listened to them, and then thing is, it's so much more different than to what I listen to, but then as an artist, you don't look down on other artists. So
how do you know? How do you know? Does it just does it just resonate in your head, like when you hear something for the first time and you're like, all right, this is different and people are going to love this?
Like I said, how house music isn't for trends, but then if I like it, and then I'm gonna upload it, and then if people don't like it, and then like I said, it it goes back to passion. If you love it, and then you just leave it like that as an investment, that's how music it is. After a while, people will be like, oh, this dropped back in 2000 and what's this dropped back in 2021. It wasn't popping, but then now, because like trends are there as an illusion, so that you don't see what's really happening the way I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's not popping for you, I swear to God, 2 years, 3 years down the line, you'd be like, hey,
I should have taken this
real.
guy. I should have taken this guy. Like, oh man, you're kicking yourself in the ass because you're like, oh man, like I should have taken this guy. Like, but now he did. All right, so I gotta go to be. So tell people again how they can find out your content.
Oh, okay, it's on SoundCloud, Sabula Thabiso, and Facebook, it's Sabula Thabiso.
Make sure you follow me. Make sure you follow me so I can share your stuff. It'll be a lot easier for my audience to be able to find your stuff.
Okay,
so we
cool.
can connect and I can do it there because I got a big following on social media.
Oh, okay, cool. No, that's fine with me.
All right, Thabiso, I want to thank you so much for giving me a call. It was an honor talking to you. And if there's anything you ever need, please feel free to reach out, my friend.
No, thank you for having me, man. You know, it's a pleasure for you to give me this platform to expose myself to your audience also.
All right, Thabiso, be safe out there, man, and let's keep in touch, okay?
Okay, cool.
All right, man. Have a wonderful night. Bye.
And that's the show for today. Thanks for listening to the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hey, don't be a dickhead. Do us a favor. Like, share, and subscribe to the show. Also, check out the Tuddle category at 315live.com. The Tuddle Daily Podcast is brought to you by the Vapor Shades Hobo Fish Camp. Do you want some cool-ass sunglasses? Check out vaporshades.com. Also brought to you by Starfire Transport, StitchYouUp.com, PocketPairClub.com. Special thanks to show intern Hannah and Charlie Alamo for their contributions. Additional imaging and production is provided by CCA Productions. Facebook.com/CCA Productions Presents. Show voiceover service is brought to you by JCVoiceover.com. That guy's got a damn sexy voice. You should hire him. Check out JCVoiceover.com. If you want to help support the show, go to paypal.me/TuddleOnTheRadio. Comments? Concerns? Or do you just want to let Tuddle know he's being a dickhead? Tuddle@gmail.com. That's Tuddle with 2 Ds at gmail.com. Leave a voicemail at 407-270-3044. To follow all of Tuddle's social media, go to Tuddle.net. Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you tomorrow on the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
Hey, yo, Terry, what going on?